Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing Raise the Pass combo once again. If you're not entirely sure how it works, it's pretty simple once you see it, especially on Arena, as Arena will kind of manage all the triggers for you, as it can get quite crazy putting like 84, 85 triggers on the stack, not counting the Starscape Cleric triggers. But what is the plan? We are going to use a card called Raise the Pass. This card is very, very good whenever it comes to this style of deck. And what it does is return all creature cards with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. In our deck, we play 30 creatures overall, as we can kind of pull it up here really quickly. As you can see, we have 30 creatures in our deck, 21 lands, 9 sorceries, no instant speed spells. But with all those creatures in our deck, they all fit the description of Raise the Pass. Well, what do we do with that? It's very simple. We use a card in Starscape Cleric. It has a cool ability of Offspring. That's never really going to be relevant, as we're hoping to bring it back. But the creature can't block. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life, and we have a few life gainers in our deck, being Hinterland Sanctifier and the Sadistic Pilgrim as 2 of our life gainers that kind of help us out here. Other than that, we're using a lot of effects to put cards into our graveyard, so when we do cast that Raise the Pass, they'll all come back all at once and do a lot of cool things. Whether that is using a card like the Archaeologist or the Picklock Prankster, whenever it comes to actually milling over ourselves and then finding the Raise the Pass, or using things like Wail the Forgotten or the Gorehound to manipulate the top of our library, or look at the top 3 cards of our library and help us find that 3rd and 4th land that we're going to desperately need in a lot of our games, while also potentially putting extra cards in our graveyard just for Raise the Pass to be better. Outside of that, we're going to go ahead and hop into the game, so I hope you all enjoy, and if you do enjoy my content, consider subscribing, and let's head out there in game. Alright, we get to go first. The mana situation's a little tough, but trimming down on lands this time around just to see kind of how it goes. And we mill ourselves. 1 land goes in the bin, which is a little unfortunate, as obviously every land we hit in these kind of situations can be tough, especially when we want a Raise the Pass to cast eventually. But there's a Heartfire Hero. We do hit the land, however, which is pretty huge if I have to say so myself. But I'm going to go fire off the Vermin and mill myself once again. Having 2 of these is just really, really nice against a Heartfire Hero. A Heartfire Hero. Ooh. And a full mount. Sure. This is fun. Give a double strike. Go for it. Attack me. I will gladly take this any day of the week, as you will lose your creature. If I can take away that creature by giving it like literally no damage as well, obviously the better. Now we have an interesting choice to make. Do I go for Picklock Prankster? Do I go for Raise the Pass? If I leave this unanswered for a turn, like, how bad is it for me? I guess it's just, although I don't know, that's always the hard part. I don't know if I'm just dead here. This getting double strike is obviously frustrating, or tough. Frustrating, maybe not the word. Maybe they're missing a land. Hopefully this finds that card. It is a land, unfortunately. But hopefully we can Picklock Prankster, bring enough back, and cause enough problems that it doesn't really matter. We take 5 here down to 13. We mill over some cards here. Grab another one back, which is super sweet. Obviously, Wail the Forgotten would be nice. No life gainer in there, really, I don't think. But a lot of ways to mill. Oh, no, there is a life gainer in there. Super sick. Raise passed up. Ready to go. A Gorehound to happen. Hopefully, how did these resolve? Hello? Did put a Vermin trigger? Oh, they just, okay. Feels like a weird way to resolve that. We're definitely vermining everything over, and then we're looking to do the Gorehound's very last, which it does kind of by default. Land can go. Now we're just kind of on the other Raise the Pass kind of situation as well. Vermin can go. I'll look at my... Oh, I guess I just have to wait. We have 3 raised to pass in there. Okay, well, realistically, finding another one's not super high on the depth chart, I suppose. But, well, the Forgotten going to be a very good card that they don't really know about. We can bounce something, make them draw a card, so on, or discard a card, so on and so forth, and help us find that last raise to pass. But with kind of most of that stuff out of the way, we pretty much know our last raise to pass is going to be enough for lethal. Now, obviously, this board state's a bit troublesome. Go for Shelter by Ghost to gain life here, and the ward will be kind of annoying. We'll be able to get something back. Depending how they attack here, we can pick off probably most of their board. Alright. Sure. I have 5 damage on board. You have to give that double strike, or I will just block out. You go for Trample. Okay. I will block with all 5 of these. You'll hit me for 1. I'll get this back. I'll do -1, -1, -1, -1, and then -1 here. Sure. Bottom that guy. Alright. Seems like a pretty good setup to me, big dog. Fire this off right away. Take a little look-see. There's like only a few cards that we will ever keep in any situation here. Wail being one of the really good ones to put back in our hand. And then I'm going to go with this. And I will use my treasure here to play this Freebooter as well. Might as well, in my opinion, against the aggro deck. Who kind of swung in what felt like the weirdest situation. I feel like just giving that a double strike and just sending it in. Maybe not the most value you'll ever find. Shelter by Ghost is perfectly fine, hence the reason we kept the Wail the Forgotten. To get rid of that, sure. They only have a red available, so we know that the protection spell is not there. A land hit from us. There's no Surveil lands in our deck, so we might as well just play that down now. Yes. You can discard. I will pay this ward cost. Now we get our creature back. They have to discard one of the 2 cards in their hand. Their Shelter by Ghost will be gone. Put, I guess, this into my hand. Good. 2 life gainers in. Double attack here. We'll just offspring this next turn. And then we'll deal 4 to them because of our life gain that we have. And our opponent leaves the game. Okay. Very cool. Well, whenever we only play like 21 lands, we have 3 of them in this opener. I'll definitely latch onto this, that's for sure. 2 Wails and Hinterland and a Gorehound is also pretty good. We'll just have to see what we're up against. Obviously, the match can get much harder. It looks like we have the Collecting Cage, or it's Poison. Oh boy. Play the Sanctificer, because Sanctificer can block this pretty cleanly, and they don't play. From my reminder, I would say I don't think they play a ton of removal per se. But Wail the Forgotten, we could target this and set him back a turn, but I can also go for the Gorehound shenanigans, which I like doing. And I'm okay with blocking with the Sanctificer and a Gorehound to save a turn. Vermin in the yard. Although Vermin might have been good enough to keep, actually. But I think getting some mill started is good. And the reason I thought Vermin might be good enough to keep is just because kind of how this is working out. Well, they're not attacking because the Sanctificer's there and pretty annoying, I have to assume. So, there's a Skrelv. There's an Archaeologist. I'm going to go for a Wail here. I'm going to look at 3. The reason we look at 3 is so we can find a situation like this. Obviously, Archaeologist is good, but there's at no point can it put a creature back in my hand. Now we have a Vermin, which is quite annoying to deal with whenever it comes to like, oh, if it dies, I can target the Skrelv to remove it. Life Gainer, I guess I probably should have been when I bounced. Okay, sure. Or like sacrifice there, because I would much actually rather have the mill option. I'm not sure why I did that, but they go black here. I can't even block, which is tough. That's the only like real frustrating part, is not actually being able to block. And we take 3 whole poison here. That's insane. I can go blue and white as well here. So let's start off with just this. This will tell us if they have the counterspell. I don't think they do. I think we would have saw it. They gave up the Skrelv just now, so I guess gave up Skrelv to get a lot of value, so we're gonna go for this. They could have protection spell, but then they have to discard their last card in hand, because Wail doesn't get countered by this because there's more than one target. Now, if we only had one target in general, it would actually get countered, which would be tough. To get rid of a second Skrelv, put one of these in our hand. We only have a white mana available and only 1 blue, but we have 2 blue next turn. I guess I'd much rather just take I guess I'd much rather just take the 6 mil to find the raise to pass. We don't have a lot of time. That's the hard part, is our time is so minute here. Go for a bounce. Okay. Fine. We go to 4. We know their last card and their last trick. It puts us at 6. We get to play all 3 of these next turn. Again, the life gain isn't what matters at all. It's just, I mean, it does matter for us to win the game, obviously, but there's a hive, so these have lifelink now. Are you going to commit to something like this? They are. They feel obligated to close the game, but thankfully, again, if nothing happens, or we find a raise to pass, is it dead? Do they lose the video game? No, they do not. Okay. Let's play a white creature so Skrelv can stop being a nuisance. Let's play a land, and let's play an archaeologist. So now Skrelv is not going to really be able to get him to dodge anything here, which is obviously super important. We keep milling, because even if they just bounce, like, they just, Skrelv doesn't work. That's all I'm trying to say. Skrelv does not stop us now. We pass. Our Skrelv alone doesn't beat us. Now they could draw a counterspell, and that could technically beat us, unfortunately. A Wail of the Forgotten off the top would probably be best draw, because then we can bounce token, make them discard, and then we get everything we want. Black, okay. You can only deal 1 damage anyway, right? So, like, why not do this? Then if they have another fend, then we're okay with that. Yes? Sweet. Alright. Game is officially set, match, and over. Raise to past. Yep. That is just a good game in general. A very close game. 57 triggers on the stack. But, yeah, it's just a wild one to have to try to play against, because, like, it's a weird thing to say that it's a backup plan, but our backup plan is to gain life and live. But in a matchup where life doesn't matter, we're permanently at 4 right now. Like, that's the thing, right? It's like we can go to 22 after this. Like, we're up in the 40s, 50s, whatever. It doesn't even matter if we don't actually win, because, like, they still only got to do 4, right? It's kind of like when we play Smuggler's Surprise, and the Twin Flames can reach so high that, like, you have to gain so much life to not lose the game. That is kind of crazy. Yeah. So, just like I said last game, 21 lands. We have a 3-land opener that curves out pretty perfectly. And when this time we have the raise to pass. So we're just like, we're just gun-ho all the way as fast as we can. Get to mill plan. There's a plains. There's a scavenger. A little bit tough. Should I go archaeologist to kind of just have a chump blocker? I think so. Picklock Prankster obviously digs just a little bit deeper, but we have a raise to pass. No land was hit there. That's pretty good because that ups our chances of hitting land. Maybe Picklock Prankster was the best one to play. There's a stink bug on my mic. That thing's gone now. Thing just scared me, dude. What? Oh, I don't know. Here's a thing bug behind. Never mind. That's where water leak happened and my room got too hot or moist, I guess. And it got damp and ruined my room. That was great. But other than that, another slow land here, which is honestly kind of a little tough. I guess I can play 3 mana here and maybe our opponent will respect it. I mean, they're Boros. They're probably not respecting anything, but we can hope. We can always hope. But obviously, when we go for a Picklock Prankster here with kind of 3 of our only spells that don't necessarily hit. I guess with Wail of the Past, there's obviously other Wail of the Past in the deck. We have 4 of our, like, 5 left. They go for a Ruckus on the ground creature? Fair enough. Maybe they don't have, like, a super ambitious hand. That would make sense to me. Sure. Yeah, they're investing more in the Scavenger. I actually like that a lot, to be honest. I think the big problem a lot of decks have, or a lot of pilots have with their decks, is that they overvalue, like, a Slick Shot. And they overinvest on it, and then they lose that Slick Shot, and then it's just like, what have I done? Kind of thing. Alright, untap land. We have a Raised Past ready. We have 4 creatures we can bring in, and a backup Raised Past. I mean, there's no other reason not to just barrel this. Now, the Ruckus does look objectively a little silly on the fact that now, with the flyer in play, like, now it definitely feels worse, right? Because it's like, well, if I would have just given this Menace, like, they couldn't block it, but at the same time, like, you don't know that this is going to be the board state on the following turn. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. We have 2 more creatures in the bin. We could put 5 total back in, depending on how these blocks happen, or what ends up happening. Double Strike, sure. Only works on the Heartfire hero. I have a feeling that this feels like it's a Shelter by Ghost, which is quite annoying in a way. Not what I thought. Would have ever thought that was happening. Take out the flyer so you get to attack scot-free through the air. I don't think it's the Archaeologist. Maybe it's just a life gainer. Definitely a little bit tough. They're only going to give the Heartfire hero double strike, though. Can't imagine they give it trample. If they do, like, once again, we throw 3 blocks in front of it and call it a day. And we'll just take the 3 and we'll take 9, I guess. Okay. Better be double strike. Okay. Just too often now recently, I've just seen people not giving double strike, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. Now, I do have another Raised Past. How crazy are we getting on this investment? So this block's here 100,000%. And then this block's here. Then am I doing that? So this is going to be only 1 permanent's going in the graveyard at 5 if I Picklock, and then I most likely can Wail, but then I can't pay the ward. But the Slick Shot's gone here. I don't know. This guarantees put 3 in, then Wail's just good, I guess. This is the route we're taking. Path less traveled, if you would. Huh. I guess I overblocked, right? But I mean, the Slick Shot still goes away. And this way I get more stuff in the graveyard, which is honestly fine with me. We go for what I said. Yep. We target you to discard. Huh. Paying that cost. I don't know exactly what's coming across the table in terms of like what we're going to see in our top 3 here. We see just some freebooters and the Archaeologist. I guess we just grab the freebooter. The other guys can go in the bin. Then we just tell them, hey, you know, I have one creature. If your 2 cards can win the game, so be it. Obviously, a Monstrous Rage and maybe something else on that Manifold Mouse could definitely get there. Okay, it's always favors a pretty good one. We just hope it's kind of a dead card, I guess. Manifold Mouse number 2, so it already has Trample, so it's like kind of redundant here, I guess. Like just that weird thing where like what you do, you give it double trample, I guess. This also has trample, so it doesn't really matter where this block goes. On the 9. We find another land even still. So, okay, we do this. I cast Raise the Past. And we just see what's going on there. Little they know we had the Raise the Past already, but now we have a backup one even more so. And the life total, or like kind of the balance of the game, is now swung heavily in our favor. I don't know if it's lethal. I don't think so. I would say it's actually not lethal. Okay, the stack is just going. It is cruising. Relax for a second so we can look at it for a minute. Now I don't even know what's going on. Yeah, can you see how the stack broke? The stack is not supposed to... I can't even look at it. So there's a burn trigger, a life gain, a burn, and a burn underneath there. That's not how that resolves ever. But there's 18... And I'm pretty sure they took way more damage than what it said. I have no idea anymore. That's sure, man. I don't know. I have the worst problem in the world about hitting the record button. I've been recording a bit differently because it just makes the most sense to do it the way that I've been doing it now. But it makes me where I stop hitting record every now and then, and it's just a bad habit I gotta get out of. But yeah, they played a temple, I made a grunting noise, and now here we are. It's the combo deck. Okay, well, that makes me a little happier. Like, by how much? I don't really know, but it just makes me a little happier. I'm gonna go for a Vermin. We can't really interact with them too well. I'm not milling them by any chance. There's just no way. Well, that sucks. Here goes one of our copies of Raised Past. Now we have to dig 25 cards deep to find the other one. Or they're super glued together. One of the two. Oh, pretty super glued there. But now we have to find a land, which isn't necessarily the easiest thing in the world. There's a moment of truth. Am I getting comboed immediately? Who knows? Who's to know? Neither I nor them. After 1, 18. And it's not even like I have the combo in my graveyard. I have a lot of things in there that give me value. Huh. That's interesting. Just in general. We will look at top 3. We're looking for a land here. Not a high chance to find one, but we do regardless, so that's fantastic. Couple things gone. We play land. We have 2 white mana. I play Starscape Cleric. I hope they don't have every single card they need to do this combo now. They definitely could. That would not go well for it. It would not go well for us. I don't know if you saw it, like, wouldn't let me attack there. In 3 cards, do you have everything? Well, I guess of those 3 cards, it has to be an Omniscience. Even if they don't have it here. Ooh, thankfully they don't. Black mana is a bit confusing. I don't know what it means. What are we looking for? Oh, so you don't have an Omniscience in there, big dog. No sirree, no way. Temporary lockdown, okay. Sure. So this just tells us everything we need to know, that they don't really have a lot going for them. We have the Raise to Past. I believe I don't have the combo in here. Not that they don't believe that I have the combo in there. I just don't. Yes. Okay. So Gorehound would be super good to resolve here. I'm going to make it where they also don't discard a card because I don't want to put an Omniscience in their graveyard for free. That's one of the weird things we have to look out for. Put one of these into our hand. A land would be fine, I think. Actually, no, land's fine. Life gainer in the graveyard is just good. Vermin. Archaeologist, then resolve. We put a Raise the Past back in our hand. Like weird because I don't think I have one of these in the graveyard yet still. I just need one. Okay. That's fine. Also, I should have been careful. They could Jace mill me. Wait. I have 18. I'm safe. But Jace mill could definitely happen. Huh? Yeah. Combat. Here. Now the thing is like, I do have a lot in play, and if they have to counter this every turn, they're just not going to be able to go for it. That's the thing, is like, using the Confounding Riddles to counter while I also have like a decent amount of pressure on the board is fine enough with me. I think they recognize their new game plan strategy is to wait me out and win that way. Don't worry, I got nothing in there. Nothing in there, though. I still don't know what this is for. We see? No? Combat. We are. Errol. I'm gonna force him to stop me. They hit the riddle immediately. Ah, you rat. Good hit though. I mean, that's just good. I am going to play a Gorehound. Honestly, I should have looked. I guess I didn't even think about looking. Temporary lockdown obviously now is good. We have one more Raise the Past. How many Wail the Forgottens do we have? 1, 2, 3. They're all gone, so this temporary lockdown is now permanent. Well, who knows? How about the next one? Oh man, that's 80 triggers on this stack. Oh, that's gonna get it done. 80 triggers just to do 4 damage. Oh wow, man. Well, it finally happened. What I was expecting to happen a little bit more often than it has so far. I've been like keeping not lower hands. Hold on. My brain's thinking, and I apparently can't talk and think at the same time. What I was wanting to say is I cut lands to have a lower count a lot more of the time. But the problem was I just kept opening with 3 landers at 21 lands, and there goes 2. So now finding the 3rd land is actually going to be pretty tough. Like in theory anyway. But thankfully we have some freebooters to do that for us in order to make treasures. But we've been playing a lot less lands. I was at 25 at one point. Now I'm at 21 trying it out. And mana had a bit of problems. So now I've felt like this really weird thing of like, bro, my game's always just been like this. I just didn't do anything about it. Like, this is so annoying. Like, I could have played more cards. They play a Flood Pits. Okay. They could go for a Kaido here or something. They're going to stun my freebooter, sure. Honestly, we could have waited, but if it's a Fairy Mastermind, then, like, it doesn't matter, right? Like, didn't end up doing anything. Again, this could be a Kaido. Definitely could see it happening. But we'll see what's up. Problem is, the Kaido then has to deal with, like, kind of some threats. Especially if all it does is draw. Maybe they'll stun something, but who knows? Well, I guess they won't stun anything, right? Because then I'll lose it? No, I guess we won't lose it either. Okay. Here. Going for this. Put a raise to pass my hand. Could have grabbed the Wail, I suppose. But doesn't feel right, you know? Hit Kaido for a bit here, I think. Actually, I think I just hold everything back. No attacks. I just play a Death Toucher that they have to kind of get out of the way. And then I get to kind of block this Kaido for free. Seems fine with me. And then maybe a raise to pass kind of thing can happen. Who's to know? A surveil first. Okay. Maybe realizing that there's a little bit of problems on the battlefield. As long as we can kind of build a wall up for now and hesitate their game plan, slow them down a bit until they're kind of forced to do what we did in the last game and they're forced to kind of counterspell us. Hopeless Nightmare comes in, sure. Weird addition. What? Sure. Sure, dude. Kaido has 5 loyalty. Are they going to play this thing down tapped and tap their Death Toucher? That would work fine with me. Raised pass being lost here would suck. Okay. Maybe they feel obligated to do it. We're definitely double blocking here. No reason not to in my mind. Now, they could have done a thing if they didn't want me to do much, in the fact that they could have just done all the damage to the vermin. That's a tough card to draw. But I think I have to draw it. We have 1 creature on the board. We're going to get to bring back a lot. So we'll just do that right away. I mean, they know about the raise to pass. It's not like it's a hidden feature of our deck. And they concede after me casting the card they knew I was going to cast. But sure, I guess. Like, okay, immediately back into finding hands with 3 lands, raise to pass, and freebooter. Yep. We've been playing the deck all wrong, team. I guess. We'll just have to forfeit the games every now and then where we just hit poorly, I guess. Sure. Well, that's 4 mana. I'm going to go ahead and look at top 3. Grab the only creature out of that pile. Most of the time, you want to put the creature in the graveyard, but we played 21 lands. We have 6 already? 6 already? If a discard effect comes in, the freebooter will be the first one to go. A block can just happen. They refuse, which makes sense. Maybe a counter spell here. 2 mana counter target creature spell could definitely happen. We'll go for Gorehound. We'll go for Archaeologist. This is definitely the one they want to counter if they have that card. Archaeologist hits, though. We do have 1 free card to get rid of. We'll take the Dewdrop, obviously. No reason really not to. And we'll bend the land there. One of the best parts about this kind of build of the deck that we're running is once we hit 4 lands, it is like no land ever unless we naturally draw it. Okay. Sure. Fine with me. I'll take my blocks all day. Here and here. No Kaido against me, please. We'll have to cast a spell to keep this thing alive. Hey, take the hit. Okay. Is that good enough to keep on top? Honestly, I think it is. Kind of that thing where I just talked about, like, the land situation being just good enough. Do I go for Dewdrop here? I keep calling it Dew Collector. Like, I play a game called 7 Days. 7 Days to Die. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't necessarily like when you say that. But I do play 7 Days, and a Dew Collector is a item in that game. And so I keep thinking about that item. And I'm just like, yeah, that's what it's called, right? Like, what are we talking about here? We do this now, and the reason why we play the Dewdrop is for the fact of Our opponent could have a counter spell that's the one that makes us counter unless we pay 2, and I want to play around that the best I can, and doing this does that. If this is an untapped land, this will be one of the few times I actually keep it. Sanctifier, so we bin it. Could be just like a flash. Blood Pits. Go for the throat for the dog. Okay. Go for the throat's interesting enough. They will want to keep a removal spell for this, because then they cannot lose if that's the case. Barrel number 1. We have 2, so we might as well fire it off. Well, it sticks. And our opponent immediately picks it up and leaves. Once again, if they do have a removal spell, they actually do not lose the game here, even though obviously we just took a incredible advantage. Like, we have a very, very good advantage here. We pushed it as far as we can, but if they just remove this with all these triggers on the stack, all I do is gain life here and then surveil. Now, is it a lot? Yes, obviously. And now, like, there's damage on board hitting you every turn, and now you have to figure out how to deal with it. But it's not doing anything as long as this is gone. So that's that. I think I'm gonna call it. Okay, here we are. We're gonna talk about the stuff just very quickly. I don't have a whole lot to say. My kind of outro is going to be a bit more of like a FYI, or for your information, in case you're a little unsure what that means. But it's going to be a weird like week or two. Well, it'll be 2 weeks. So we're coming into February pretty shortly, and then the new set is dropping midway through this month. So there's kind of this awkward thing where it's like, well, do we keep like building unique decks, and then maybe they're so good that we're like, oh, this deck's super sick, and then a set drops, and then the deck feels like it rotated, you know, where like you just can't play it anymore. Oftentimes that happens with some cards, even in like mono red, for example. Godric is a card that is still legal for them to play. Wii is still technically legal for them to play, and it was the most popular kind of deck in the past. It felt safe to craft, and then they just got pushed out of the format. Like, they're like too slow in comparison to a Screaming Nemesis and a Heartfire Hero and like all the other nonsense that they got with the mice and Bloomburrow, right? So it feels weird to try to build a new deck instead of just expanding on the ideas of our old decks and maybe see what we can add to get it the most prepared for the next set as possible. For example, a card going in here immediately is Bloodghast, especially if the discard decks want to stay around. Bloodghast is a 2-black card that says landfall. Whenever land enters, it comes back to the battlefield for free, but it has haste if your opponent's 10 or less life. So obviously that's a pretty decent card. Now, is it a weird card to play in this list? Kind of, because obviously every card we play does something, but is that card good enough that, like, I don't know, bringing a card back with life gainers in play for free every turn is good? Yeah, then maybe we'll play it and things like that. Maybe we'll go in for the vermin or whatever. But it's so hard to figure out when is the right time to be like, okay, new decks don't really matter because everything's about to be new in like 2 weeks or so. So I don't know. Feel free to give me your opinions in the comments, and we can kind of muck about and see what's up. But that said, as you can tell, we trimmed down our lands. I kind of brought it up quite often. At one point, we're at 25. We dropped to 24. Then I dropped to 21 because I kept just like flooding in a lot of the games, or even milling over too many lands that I was just like, well, I have 4 mana and there's 5 lands in my graveyard instead of like anything else. And playing Wail the Forgotten is like the only time that feels punishing, is because these are in the graveyard as well. So then my Raise the Past doesn't necessarily have the correct stuff to bring back. So instead of cutting Wail that has so much value, I prioritized a different game plan of using Wail, the Gorehound, and I guess this card. But using Gorehound and Wail to kind of find our lands is a little bit better of a plan, at least, like, hopefully is a little bit better of a plan for us in this type of build of the deck than just blindly milling and hoping we hit our lands, because we do have quite a bit of blind milling in the fact that, like, Vermin, just 2 cards, doesn't really care. This is 3 cards, doesn't really care, unless we're obviously bringing back a Raise Pass, which we do need that. And then we have a Picklock Prankster, who doesn't really care outside of these cards either. But whenever it comes to like that turn 2 and that crucial decision, if we haven't hit a land drop, well, instead of Archaeologist, maybe we cast a Wail and look at the top 3. Yeah, of course we didn't get a creature in play, but if it's not an aggro matchup, we don't really care, right? So we can just do this and then hopefully hit a land, and then if we don't hit a land there, we just throw everything in the graveyard, put the best card in our hand, and then now we've drawn an extra card. So we get to draw for turn, plus look at 3, plus an additional draw. So that's 5 cards without guaranteeing throwing the land in the graveyard, which is just very, very nice. And then after that turn, we most likely will find one in every 5 cards is obviously very possible in this deck. So we just hope to find it with that. And then with like a Gorehound in play, we can still do Archaeologist, but then that last card we'll get to look at and kind of manipulate the next 2 by either bidding that card or leaving it if it's a land, so we can find them pretty easily. And with kind of arenas a little like best of 1 hand smoother, like we're almost guaranteed 2 every game. That's probably the average we'll get, but if it gives us 3, we're pretty happy with that. And then we just have to try to find 1, and if we can't even find it, we just use Freebooter to get it for us in the term, like in a treasure sense, where like if aggro's attacking us, we just get to block for free, then make a treasure, and then we have that 4th mana anyway. But outside of that, that's all I really got to say. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.